preferably see this film, avoid spoilers, and as a result, this video until you view it. Or not, do as one pleases. Much as in the 2000 film Cthulhu, this 2007 film titled Cthulhu, directed by Daniel Gildark, relocates an iconic Lovecraft location away from New England and instead toward the Pacific Northwest. As we might recall, the 2000 film was based presumably around Canberra, Australia, or shot there, and in this 2007 feature, shot and presumably set somewhere on the coasts of Oregon or Washington State, in a little town called Innsmouth. This film's screenplay utilizes the concept of reuniting of one's family and learning of dark, terrible, deep, old secrets, and inserts it within the narrative paradigm of a homosexual male, quasi-prodigal son returns archetype, potentially awkward visit back to the slightly backwards or outright bigoted family tree homestead. I think this angle is really interesting and serves to emphasize the protagonist's, Russ, portrayed by Jason Cottle, protagonist's effective shock at his family's secret and what it reveals about their treatment of him. More interestingly and importantly, however, illustrating the homosexual condition as an affront to an insular, corralled family cult, and underscoring the tension which is inevitable when reuniting of an old, estranged family. Whilst this potentially buys into problematic cliches about homosexuality being deliberately subversive or an act of psychological rebellion, it also finds Russ faced with the fact that his family had always been hiding a lifestyle from the rest of society for fear of persecutory anger. He had assumed his parents to be typically traditional, although this was to be rather far from the case. And so the subtext of family separation and reunion becomes one of the more interesting explorations of the modern family in recent genre cinema, unexpected and rather impressive. The film's conclusion features Russ having to decide between his genetic heritage or his individual will, and is one of the more powerful ambiguous endings of the 21st century in film, I would suggest. Excellent direction from Gildark, spellbinding DIY cinematography from Sean Kirby, phenomenal act of elevating local lived-in environments into lush filmic landscapes, garage cinema at its absolute best. I was so impressed and empowered by this viewing experience. I really love obvious yet satiating DIY framing, as I hope I have captured effectively in these screen caps. I was enormously fond of 2007's Cthulhu, and as I have said here before on these programs, discussing more lower-budgeted, independent Lovecraft film adaptations, I cannot praise this film enough for its imaginative ingenuity, practical composition, considered script, and realized, believable, absorbing world-building. An absolutely exemplary entry in the canon of Lovecraft-inspired cinema.